Wizard died like super fast, so
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting they went for Myrmidons first. Maybe just going for something that they knew they'd be able to apply DPS to.
yeah, they're a big fat
Didn't have a
target,
Tech 2 tank, wasn't afraid, just kind of middle of the road target that they knew they could at least apply damage to test where they're at. But
yep, and this Stratios melted as well, so Razor's still in cleanup mode. It could have gone either way at the start, maybe, but when Initiative chose to shoot the Tengu, I think Razor were very happy with that decision, and they were just winning from there on out.
And because the spam has stopped in chat, I'm hoping sound is fixed and you guys are all hearing everything all right. We are sorry about that. But hopefully we get it taken care of. And just a couple more ships here. These Executioners, they were right down there at 0 orbiting. Not hopefully going to use up tons of our time running around the arena for no reason.
Yeah, probably not. The Executioner is right up in the middle of the Razor's grill, and Razor's not even trying to loot or anything. They're staying in the little Tinker Ball. The Tinker Logistics, the Tengu, is really, really effective, but it only has like a 6 or 7 kilometer range, so you can't really move around. So they're just sitting together, holding hands, and the match is now over.
Yeah, nice job by Razor. That'll do it for this one. Initiative knocked out of AT12. We're going to send it back to the other nerds in the studio and see you guys in a minute.
Align, align. The clock bomb, via, ragazzi, tutto, e via il jump bridge.
Do you like spaceships? Do you like explosions? Airlock Media, we make your corporation look good.
Welcome back to the studio. Of matches to start the day, I think that was a pretty good one. I'm CCP Gargant, your host for the tournament. For the rest of the tournament, I forgot to say my name, which is terrible. I like saying my name, CCP Gargant. It rolls off the tongue, sorry. So, with me here are Apophany, Sir Squeebles, and Bacchanalian, once again. And what did you gentlemen think?
Mandatory I hate Tinker comment.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
I just don't like him. I mean, Razor did a really good job with it. I think Initiative setup was perhaps just a suboptimal way to handle a Tinker, and the way they executed was also suboptimal, but at the same time, I'm not sure that, again, I don't think Razor made any mistakes there, so, you know.
Right. Yeah, it was well piloted by Razor. Like they said in the commentary booth, there's not a whole lot you can do when you're up against a Tinker. You have to all in on one ship, and if it doesn't break, you're probably not going to break the secondary because you've already lost DPS. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
There you
like,
go.
that's the thing about Tinker setup is you need the whole team's worth of DPS, and then the moment you lose that part of DPS, and I think that's one of the reasons why they had the Myrmidon primary. It has the potential to be Lynx. It's got that T1 resist profile. The cruise missiles are going to apply beautifully to it. If the Myrmidon goes down, you are golden. You are Gucci, as Elise would say.
Yeah, and he did say, I think, he busted that out on the first match.
He did.
He's
not saving the bookends. So just to explain to people that don't know, a Tinker setup is?
You're the most passionate about it.
Yeah.
I would feel wrong taking it from you.
Okay, so, I mean, as we saw, you have a setup that isn't using the max number of ships. You bring very few ships. Generally kind of beefy ships, and you have logistics that is extremely tanky, generally because it's being fed capacitor by the other ships, and results in it allowing it to actively tank really, really well. They stay very close together, generally prop modless setup, and they use range to do their damage. And it's not a very high DPS setup, but it's extremely resilient to damage. It's very hard to break through the reps of the logistics ship, and generally speaking, unless you're able to bump the logistics away and out of range of the other ships, or somehow, like we said, power through the first target right away, it's just a slow death by paper cut after that.
We've seen a fair few of these Tinker setups in the earlier weekends. And we've also seen some ways to beat it, like you say, overpowering DPS. One team managed to beat one because the Tinker forgot to fit ECM or ECCM. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then Hydra did successfully, or Pandemic Legion successfully bumped the Tinker
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
working as well. So.
No, that's easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So your solutions are bring brute force and big ships.
Right.
Yeah.
Generally, the solution to everything, if we're honest, just more power.
That's exactly.
Yes.
I live by simple philosophies.
Bigger is better.
Yeah, and more smart bombs.
Yes.
Because drones
More
apparently,
smart bombs, yeah.
apparently, yes, drones are the bane of everyone's existence.
Right. Actually, Ishtars are the bane of everyone's existence. So I'm told. That's what I've heard. Yeah. Or they
Right.
were previously.
Don't really hate on the Ishtar that much.
I don't either, actually.
Have you ever fought Ishtars?
Well, I've flown them though.
There we go.
He logs in from time to time. Don't be
Every
hating.
now and then, 3 or 4 a year, he logs in.
Yeah. Skill changes.
Yeah.
So, do you know about anyone on the commentary team this year that likes Tinkers?
Perhaps Elise.
Well, he's not here, so let's just say he loves Tinkers.
Elise is the biggest Tinker fan in the history of online, I
Yeah,
believe.
I think he said specifically before the tournament started, Tinker is the best comp, and it's going to win the tournament.
If a match doesn't have a Tinker in it, I'm fairly sure Elise just refuses to watch it.
Yeah, you could hear the bitterness in his voice that somebody else took their private comp, so I think he's pretty upset
And
about
this
it.
is what happens when you're not on the commentary
Right,
desk.
yeah,
This is what happens.
This is good. This is really
I think
good.
he's we're in for it when we switch around though.
So,
Yeah.
the initiative are going home. They lost me my first prediction of the day. I'm not happy with you guys. Tacker Master, you're no longer the captain of my heart. I'm sorry.
But it wasn't just you, actually. It lost everybody except for me the first
Here it
set.
goes.
He'd be smug.
Here it
There was
goes.
a famous poet that once said, "All I do is win, no matter what," and
Did
I
you
think that applies here.
Not even know what famous poet it was?
No, I don't know.
If you're gonna bust out a quote, you need to have the
for
source. Come
licensing
on, man.
reasons, I'm not sure I know
The
who that
philosopher
was.
Khaled is who you're referring
It's
to.
a good thing that you
Whoa.
didn't manage to remember that name because we might have had to wipe off the
See?
cameras
Yeah,
because of the
yeah.
smug fog. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm starting with it early because I don't think the rest of my predictions are going to pan out, so I've really got to milk
I
this
don't know.
one.
You agree with me on the next one, so you're going to be right.
That's what worries me.
So the next match we're going into is Choke Point versus Solar Fleet, and I respect the team, so I'm pronouncing it correctly. A lot of people think it's a silent L, but I'm not in for that. So Choke Point have banned out the Gaila and the Vexer Navy issue, and Solar Fleet have banned out the Scimitar and the Rattlesnake.
So both teams banned what the other team brought in their previous match,
Yeah.
basically, because Solar did feel Gila's choke point brought rattlesnakes.
It looks like people don't want to let face rolling happen, where you just bring the same comp again and again and again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even
Although-
though they lost with both, which
Gotta
begs
show
the
new
question, if they lost with it, maybe you do want to fight it again.
Even though it's a funny coincidence when you bring the same stuff again and you forgot to repair your ship. That happens.
No, that's style points. That's
So,
not forgetful.
The control room says that the match is ready, so let's not delay any further, even though we like the sound of our own voices. I'm going with Choke Point, because Solar Fleet, I'm not a fan of Fleet.
I'm going with Solar. I think they've got good long history in the AT. I think they usually do pretty good, and I think that Choke Point is definitely a team that they can win against.
I am also going to go with Choke Point. I think they looked pretty strong, and even though they don't have the rattlesnake, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm predicting Solar Fleet to go home. Choke Point, I think, is going to take this match. So
Is it my turn to be win smug?
yes.
Yes. Make sure to milk it
And with
for all you
that,
can.
we exit this beautiful, beautiful stage and go back into space.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm CCP Rise here with Elise Randolph, and we're about to watch Choke Point fight Solar Fleets. Some standard things going on here, especially on Choke Point side. We have Eoses, Ishtars, Aneros, and then quite a bit of support actually. 3 Merlins and 3 Punishers. A lot of like small Tech 1 support. And then what's Solar Fleet got going on?
Solar Fleet's going with something sort of different from what they brought before. They're bringing a Geddon with an EOS core. They've got a Celestis. The Navy Vexor was banned out by Choke Point, so they're replacing it with just Vexors and Arbitrators. And they're going with, I assume they're Tackle Maulers. So durable tackle there. And
Whole bunch of it.
yeah, they've got quite a bit of tackle going on.
Go get those Ishtars. And we're underway now. As you can see, Solar's kind of all over the place, depending on which ship you're talking about. Those Maulers are going to be leading the charge from at 0 on the beacon. They've got the support of those Vexors in the Geddon right behind them, and then the rest of the EOSs and stuff farther in the back. And I'll have to see how this goes. Geckos and actually some Curators mixed in there as well, being dropped for Choke. And looking for sentries on the other side. I see some augmented Berserkers, some armor maintenance bots, some Valkyrie, so not a lot of sentry action on that side.
Yeah, Solar Fleet's actually got a very huge attack bar, or a control bar rather, and I don't know, I think they're winning the damp war right now, shockingly enough. I mean, this Celestis damped out these Merlins and things, but Choke Point is making a good decision, I think. They've tackled the Guardian. He's not damped or anything, but we presume that they'll eventually move all their DPS onto Ivan in Solar's Guardian, and he is not long for the this world. Solar is doing a very similar maneuver. They don't have tackle on the Choke Point Onirios, but that is their first target.
Yeah, but for now, both Logi holding okay. The bulk of the drones haven't made it onto either of those targets. It's still kind of initial tackle and some light damage there, although now the Guardian's starting to take quite a bit of pain. His tank's starting to break a bit, and he looks like he's going to be going down on the Solar side well before the Choke Point Oneros does.
Yeah, Ivan's going down hard right now, and that is not good for the Solar Fleet. They are not really making any trades either. They were kind of plinking away at Hainsey and a Punisher, but man, this is going to go really, really bad for them as this Guardian dies.
Yeah.
They've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome for Choke Point. As you said, control bar is huge. You can see tracking disruptors and damps being traded all the way across both teams. A lot of support on both sides in this match. And in case you guys aren't super aware of how these bars work, they kind of just combine all the damage, both potential and actual, and then all the tank, both potential and actual, like active. And for control, it's kind of a consolidation of a whole bunch of different effects, webs, NOS and newts, damps, etc. So you get some kind of high-level sense of what the compositions kind of depend on for their function. Sorry about my voice. I yelled at Squeebles a lot last night at the bar, but hopefully it won't be too bad as a Mauler goes down for Solar Fleet.
Understandably so. Yeah, Choke Point looks to be running over this. They're all damped down, but they don't care. Their Ishtars are just assigning to one of these EOSs. And these Merlins also, they don't really care about being damped down. They're probably damp Merlins because they're armor Merlins, but I mean, whatever. This Geddon is now who Solar Fleet are going for, or Choke Point are going for. And I mean, this Geddon's been completely ineffective. It right now has its newts on the Onirios, it looks like, but too little too late for this Solar Geddon. And he's going down slow, but there's nothing to save him. So he's going to be gone.
Hopefully, like Solar was able to trade back an Ishtar. I have to think the Oneros did a really good job of getting himself away from all the damage, kind of kiting around all those drones. He is actually finally tackled, which he never was before. One of the Maulers caught up to him and got a web, and he's going down really quick now that that's the case. Also because of those newts, I assume. But and actually, this match is still really close. I mean, they're working on the Armageddon, trying to take that guy out, and that's going fine. But there's still a lot of damage left on the Solar side, and still a pretty close match, actually.
Yeah, this is actually going a little bit better than I thought it would be. I thought for sure Choke Point had this, but they're living up to their namesake. Solar are coming back to this. They've killed the Onirios, so now we're on even footing. Basically, it's... Actually, I think Solar might be slightly ahead if their Geddon can stay alive a little bit longer, but it looks like he's not doing too good now.
No, he's struggling. And even though he is damped, he does have newts onto both of those EOSs, you can see, just trying to wear down whatever cap they have so that they're easier to break. I think just because that's all that's in range, actually. He doesn't have a whole lot of options right now. You can see he's webbed, and he's actually going to go down as well. So yeah, another nice kill for Choke Point, putting them probably into a pretty good position again. But I think we still have a pretty close match here.
Yeah, this Geddon lived a lot longer than Choke Point wanted them to, or wanted it to. They traded what was left of the Geddon, like the slivers of that Geddon, for basically all of the cap of both EOSs and half of the HP of one EOS, SGX. So SGX, if he starts eating it now, which he's doing, he's webbed by these Maulers. The drone swarm is hitting him in the face now. I don't know, if this EOS goes down, Solar might be able to kite around and win.
Yeah, he's breaking pretty fast. It doesn't look like he's going to recover at all, and that's a really big kill for Solar. They lost to Celestis. One of their Maulers, they're about to lose a Vexor as well, so that's some more damage off the field. They are going to start getting a little light on damage on the Solar side, but actually Choke Point really only has the EOS and the 2 Ishtars too. I mean, this is really just staying very even all the way through.
Yeah, it looks like Choke Point might be kind of steadying themselves a little bit. They've got another Vexor tackled. That one Vexor melted super fast, so Bender is not long for this world either. Solar Fleet aren't really applying much damage. It seems like they're having a hard time.
They're, I can see the solar drones making their way over to that second EOS. They're, looks like they were going to switch to him, and yeah, they're most of those drones stacking up on top of that EOS.
Well, they got G Genetics, so the Ishtar of Choke Point's taking damage. I think that's the absolute right call. Like, okay, you got that first EOS because he was a target of opportunity and he was neuted and stuff, but now you have to take out the Ishtars.
Wow.
The Ishtars are a lot of points.
Interesting decision. Actually, a lot of those drones made their way up to the EOS, and then, like you say, they got the tackle on the Ishtar, decided to switch. So now a lot of the drones that were on the Choke Point EOS are moving over towards that Ishtar instead. That's costing them time, and in the meantime, the Solar has lost another Vexor.
Yeah, Solar have a little bit of split fire issues here. They're shooting the Ishtar and the EOS at the same time.
Yeah.
If they were just focusing on the Ishtar, he would have been dead by now, but at least they've got half an Ishtar and half an EOS, but they've traded it for a Vexor.
Probably a lot of this is the result of now the damp pressure coming from the Choke Point side is really significant. So there may have been lack of options for Solar in terms of where their DPS goes, but despite that, they just take out an Ishtar. So now there's just EOS Ishtar and those 6 frigates and a lot of cruisers left on the Solar side. They actually have quite a bit of damage potential still left on the field.
Yeah, if you look at the attack bar, Solar actually has the bigger attack bar. They're not applying it nearly as well, but they still got a lot of attack left in them, and they're shooting Cassie's EOS, who is now tackled by one of these tackle maulers. I mean,
wow, this is incredibly close. Third Vexor just goes down for Solar Fleet.
That's a good trade, though.
Yeah.
A Vexor for an EOS, basically. Yeah. So now we've got 2 Arbitrators and 2 Maulers and the EOS versus a lone Ishtar and then a whole bunch of tackle Merlins. So I think Solar actually are bringing this back. Is this happening?
I can't tell. It's really close. I'm really curious how the Frigs will do, like in the very late stages of this match. If Solar is still able to get damage onto them and kill them easily, like if they go to switch and the Frigs just start dying, then fine. But like, it's possible they'll have a really hard time, and the Choke can kind of kite them around with the damps and pick things off that get stranded. But it looks like Punishers kind of are the next target for Solar, and they're starting to whittle down to very little armor HP left. In the meantime, Choke's got DPS on both the Maulers for the Solar side.
Yeah, it looks like the Maulers are actually the ones shooting the Punishers, and the EOS and Arbitrator is trying to shoot the remaining Ishtar, who is kind of speeding around the arena, trying to not die. But the drones are killing him slowly but surely, and nothing else on the Solar Fleet side is taking that much damage. I mean, the Maulers are getting shot by these Punishers, but they're Maulers. They don't really care. Choke Point proving, a Mauler got a web on Omni in the Ishtar, so those drones are going to be hitting him really hard.
Yeah,
Choke Point's going to get hit right in the face again, and they're going to be left with just 6 frigates, and they're out.
Getting that tackle is huge. Those hammerheads chasing the Ishtar, getting some damage here and there, but with the web, everything will catch up right away, and I imagine that Ishtar will drop pretty quick. Still no Frigs down on the Choke Point side, even though they've been taking damage this entire time. They still have all 6 left, but like you said, the Maulers don't care too much about the damage that they're putting onto them. So
is this Ishtar actually tackled by, or was he tackled by one of the Maulers? Or yeah, he was. So that Mauler was actually pretty...
He was actually tackled by the EOS.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a little bit more embarrassing. And Choke Point showing that, like, even without MJDs, they can still throw a match pretty effectively.
2 Punishers down. This is now well in the hands of Solar Fleet.
Oh,
what an awesome match.
This was really back and forth. I thought for sure Solar lost it as they lost their Guardians so early on. But then they kept their composure. They came back. They killed the Onerios. And then they just made really good trades. I mean, I have a feeling Choke Point kind of forgot that Arbitrators and Vexors are pretty decent drone boats. And they definitely were caught by these Maulers. Like, these Maulers, you don't really expect to say this often, and I don't think I'm going to say it very much, but these Maulers were really good tackle.
It worked out really well for him. Nice job, Solar Fleet. Really cool match there. That's it for this one. Choke Point will be knocked out, of course. And with that, we'll go back to the studio.
come back after that rather nice showing of a choke. I call that a choke.
Yeah.
Definitely a choke.
And this is what I like about this job is I get the first take on all the puns. All the obvious puns are mine.
I think during the matches I need to just keep my mouth shut and not give them away to you, so I can. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is not going to become a pun war.
Yeah.
Let's just keep that.
He would lose for sure.
That
probably.
was really cool. Like it's really close back and forth, like we used to say. Solo looks like Guardian, but managed to shake it off and like come back and choke point, then kind of lost a few ships and kind of play that web from the EOS on the Ishtar, which never really happened. Like that match was like really, really good. A great second match of the day.
I feel like an EOS is a really expensive tackle ship, but they used it effectively.
I mean, you use what you have.
Yeah.
I also like the maulers. Like we don't see a lot of them for some reason.
Yeah, and it's sort of a strange choice because you can fit them with something like smart bombs, and they're a great tanky platform that can follow drone blobs around. But I didn't see smart bombs.
No, me neither.
So I kind of wonder, I mean, it is nice because they're not things that are going to get instantly destroyed. We've seen several teams that have lost the match basically to Alpha on their frigates.
Yep.
And they didn't really present that opportunity. But what they did present was just sort of a strange set of tackle that worked when choked.
Yeah, I mean, the Muller has, 3 mids. It's really tanky, not that much room for utility. Its projection with lasers isn't particularly fantastic. They've got the damage bonus, but not really a tracking or like optimal bonus. So they are a weird choice. But in the way they were used, just like really super heavy tackle that would just grab something and hold it forever, that was quite nice.
Yeah.
No, I think Poppy, this is where you get to be smug.
Oh yeah.
I was not going to let him.
Have his moment.
Okay.
Yes.
We're all 1-1 though, right?
Everybody gets one.
Yes.
No, I'm 0-2.
Oh.
And then I believe he is.
Yeah. I'm not even. Like a lot of other commentators will talk about some sort of curse to hide their incompetence, but I'm just really bad at predictions, so I won't hide behind some superpower. Oh, this is beyond my control, guys. I'm just not selecting. This is just a curse.
It's not even beyond your control. It's the opposite. It's like you guess a team, so they throw.
But now choke point is gone, and solar fleet advance. This is turning out to be an upset day for me, at least. But next up, we have Castabout versus Clockwork Pineapple, and I am fairly certain that Castabouts will win this.
Really?
I have no basis for that judgment. It's just a wild swing of my judgment.
Based on the first two, yeah.
If they bring more than 6 pilots, I think they will have a lot more chance to win.
How do you worded it pretty nicely earlier, I believe.
Yes.
I believe. What about you guys? What do you think?
I mean, they did run a Tinker in their previous match, Castabouts, that is. So I'm excited to hear Bacchanalian's thoughts on that if it comes back out. I somewhat expect the bands might try and take the Rattlesnake from them, since it was used fairly effectively, even though they didn't win. But I think Clockwork Pineapple's approach was a little more seasoned, even with the Sleipnirs. So I think they should have a pretty easy time of this, to be honest.
I have the bans. Castabouts banned the EOS and the Dominics. Apparently they're going to last year's tournament.
As you do.
And Clockwork Pineapple banned the Gila and the Rattlesnake. So of course, you were right.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think we will probably see Sleipnirs from Clockwork Pineapple again.
Yeah.
I feel like even though it didn't work out for him last time, that's a ship that you practice a lot. You use it as a core. I mean, when you come into the tournament, you're going to fly a Sleipnir at some point, whether you want to field it or not. So the fact they came out with it last week, the bands sort of take away a lot of the drone potential. I think they're going to run Sleipnirs.
It is a very versatile ship.
Yeah, I can see it. And Grun, Clockwork Pineapple have a lot of experience flying it, having been their neighbors for quite some time. I'm going to go with Clockwork Pineapple as my prediction, even though I also see Squeebles has done the same, so that
Which
it's
doesn't bode
guaranteed
well.
to be wrong. But,
This leaves me the odd man out.
Yeah. So again, you get to be right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we had Squeebs being the only one, and he was right. I was the only one was right, and now it's your turn to get one right.
We'll see. We'll see. Like I say, I do not trust in supernatural powers when it comes to incompetence. But talking about like what these teams have brought before earlier in the tournament, I'd like to point out that both of them are in the losers bracket, so it has obviously not been that impressive. But no.
But
sorry.
To be fair, some of the first matchups, I mean, somebody had to start off against Hydra, right? I mean, I'm not saying I don't remember if it was one of these, but like there are a lot of really good teams in the tournament, and you're gonna just be unlucky and draw them sometimes.
Yep.
So some of the teams that are in the losers bracket, maybe they're not the worst teams. They just happen to get a really hard match right out, and maybe they're not the team that's going to win the tournament, but they're a team that could place pretty high if they get a little bit easier brackets.
And I think that is the case actually with both of these teams. I don't know who Castabout's faced, but they're a really strong team. I don't even remember the match specifically. I do know they ran that Rattlesnake Tinker, but these are two really competent teams, and I think it'll be a really good match no matter what they bring, but I really, really hope it's a Tinker so that you can talk about it.
Yeah, we loved seeing you talk about the things you hate. It gives us a certain...
He's the grumpy old man of the cast.
Yeah.
It gives us a certain Schadenfreude. It's
there
what
you
it's
go.
called.
Yeah.
Wow, the
that's
German pronunciation.
Well, it's sort of in New York.
Yes, well,
impressed.
this is Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We are in Europe.
Barely.
Sort of.
Barely Europe,
Yeah.
yes. More like the North Pole.
Right.
Alternatives to... I see that the drone boats get targeted a lot. Alternatives to that... Why? Your language is hard, I'm sorry. Alternatives to these drone boats exist, but of course these are the best ones. But what do you think they're going to bring? Like...
I always love watching Typhoon teams. Like, I think that even though there was only one team, Quebec, that have a flagship Foon, I really just enjoy watching them. They are kind of drone boats. They've got 100 bandwidth, but you kind of don't consider them overt drone boats. They're kind of like cloak and dagger drone boats. You don't realize they have them, then suddenly they drop them.
Cloak and dagger drone boats.
Yes, suddenly drones. Yeah.
Drones out of nowhere.
I think it is worth mentioning, we've seen Ishtars in both matches, which is still a viable option. And quite frankly, those are really comfortable. I know that CCP Rise has completely ruined the Ishtar, but it still can be used. And even though we don't see the sentries used very often, because a lot of the meta or a lot of the team comps have used drones, there are a lot of teams that are fielding smart bombs. And the benefit of the Ishtar is you have that sentry option that you don't really have. You certainly don't have from Aguila, but even at VNI, you don't see it used all that often. So.
But we can also hope that these teams have brought something else and will go for a direct slugfest. And
I hope so.
We will see because the match is ready. So let's just stop yammering and go straight out.